You know that feeling when you buy something you don't really need and for like 5 minutes you feel good, and then the guilt just sits there? Yeah, that used to be me every single week. I'd blow my money on food deliveries, random stuff online, things I forgot about 2 days later. And here's the weird part. It wasn't just my bank account that felt empty. My motivation for everything else started tanking too. My focus was gone. I'd procrastinate on assignments, skip workouts, put off anything that required effort. And I couldn't figure out why until I realized something that changed everything. The way you handle your money isn't just about money. It's a mirror for how you handle your life. Let me explain. When I had zero control over where my money was going, I had zero control over where my time and energy were going either. I was just reacting, spending impulsively, scrolling impulsively, saying, "I'll start tomorrow," impulsively. Everything felt random because I had no system, no structure. And that lack of structure in one area, it bled into everything else. So I tried something small. I started tracking every single expense for 1 week. Not budgeting yet, not cutting anything out, just writing it down. Coffees, snacks, subscriptions I forgot existed. And honestly, I was shocked. I was spending money on things I didn't even enjoy. I wasn't being intentional. I was on autopilot. And that hit me hard. Here's what I learned. Discipline in money habits isn't about being cheap or never having fun. It's about being aware. It's about making choices instead of letting life happen to you. And once I started applying that to my money, something clicked in my brain. If I could control this, I could control other things too. So here's what I did and what you can do starting today. Step 1. Track your spending for 7 days. Not forever, just 1 week. Use your notes app, a notebook, whatever. Write down everything. This isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. You can't fix what you don't see. And once you see where your money's actually going, you'll start seeing patterns. Patterns you can change. Step 2, set one small money goal. Not save $1,000, that's overwhelming. Start with something like, I'm going to save $10 this week, or I'm not buying food delivery for 3 days. Something achievable. Because here's the thing, when you hit that small goal, your brain gets a win, and that win builds momentum. And this is where it gets interesting. Once I started hitting those small money goals, I noticed something. I started setting small goals in other areas too. I'm going to study for 25 minutes without checking my phone. I'm going to go to the gym twice this week. Suddenly, discipline didn't feel impossible anymore. It felt like a skill I could practice. Because that's what discipline is. It's not some personality trait you're born with. It's a muscle, and money habits are one of the easiest places to start building it because the feedback is instant. You either spent the money or you didn't. You either saved or you didn't. There's no gray area. It's clear, it's measurable, and that clarity makes it easier to stay consistent. So here's the system that actually worked for me. Every Sunday, I do a 5-minute money check-in. I look at what I spent that week, I look at what's coming up, I set a rough plan, not a rigid budget that stresses me out, just a loose guide, like, okay, I've got groceries, phone bill, maybe one hangout with friends. That's it, 5 minutes, and it keeps me grounded. I also started using the 24-hour rule. If I want to buy something that's not essential, I wait 24 hours. Most of the time, I forget about it. And when I do still want it the next day, I buy it without guilt because I know it's a real decision, not an impulse. And here's the best part. These tiny habits with money started spilling over into everything. I procrastinated less because I was practicing following through. I felt more motivated because I was proving to myself that I could stick to something. My confidence grew, not because I suddenly had more money, but because I had more control. Look, I'm not saying managing your money is going to solve all your problems, but I am saying this. When you start being intentional with your money, you start being intentional with your time, with your energy, with your choices. And that intentionality, that's what motivation actually is. It's not some magical feeling that just shows up. It's the result of small, consistent actions that prove to yourself you're capable. You don't need a huge income to start. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start paying attention. Start small. Track your spending this week. Set one tiny goal and watch how that discipline starts unlocking other parts of your life. So here's my challenge for you. Tonight, before you go to bed, write down everything you spent today. Just today. See how it feels. See what you notice. And then tomorrow, do it again. That's it. 1 week. 7 days of awareness. I promise you, it'll shift something. Let's build this together. You've got this.